Hello everybody, this is Boost for You and I've come at you with a new draft league to cover. While the last one I reviewed, DDL Season 3, was my first Paldea Dex draft, this one is my first ever Gen 9 draft league. This is the Banlist Battlers League, or BBL, an invitational tour, and signups for this closed around late November or early December 2022. So this league is known for their Ubers format. So I thought this would be a great way for me to try all the new broken legendaries. And this was just the third or fourth week of Scarlet and Violet. So I was fourth in the draft order, which gave me a good shot at picking the new box legendaries. But unfortunately they got picked right away. I think the sequence was Koraidon, Kyurem White, and Miraidon. So I thought there were no more new Ubers to try out, but then I took a closer look at the dock and found that there is still new stuff to try out. So this is why you see right here, my first pick was Dialga Origin. And I have a bit of a nostalgia bias for Dialga, and I also enjoyed the Legends Arceus game. So of course, I'm gonna try to make this new form work. So the difference with Dialga from its base form is that its attack and special defense stats swap. So this makes the Origin form better at tanking moves like Moonblast, Water Spout, and Draco Meteor. Dialga Origin still has a great defensive typing, having lots of resistances and the bulk to take advantage of those. And the support move pool is still good, with moves such as Trick Room, Stealth Rock, Roar, and Dragon Tail. You also can't forget its super high special attack. Oh yeah, so disclaimer, we didn't know how the new Origin forms work, since this was still like Scarlet and Violet was out for less than a month. So you're gonna be seeing some illegal items on everyone's Dialga Origin and Paldea Origin. You're gonna see stuff like leftovers on them. But we didn't know that you were forced to hold their respective signature items, so it was allowed. So now my next pick. So in this league, you're allowed to have 2 Ubers. The next one I picked is my favorite legendary of all time. And it actually partners well with Dialga. It is Giratina Origin. So now I have the double Origin core. As a spin blocker, it can preserve the rocks that Dialga sets. And as a levitating ghost, it switches into Dialga's 2 weaknesses easily. Giratina has a great roll compression ability, having access to priority, support moves like Defog, Wisp, and Thunder Wave, and capable of wall breaking with Briseus or boosted Shadow Force, Poltergeist, or Draco Meteors, or even Hexes. It's the best check to Groudon, and its natural bulk will allow me to optimize it to tank whatever I need. So now for my third pick. I was reviewing the rules and noticed that the cut moves, except for hidden power, are allowed. And then I continued reading on to the rest of the move rules, and I learned that Last Respects was not banned. And at the time, Houndstone was recently banned due to this move. And now I see the second unreleased user of Last Respects at an affordable price. So my next one is Basculegion. Now, Basculegion is a complete upgrade from Houndstone. It has more attack, more speed, a second stab, and it can still double its speed in weather. And the cool thing about base 78 speed is that at max investment under rain, I can outspeed up to max invested base 120 Scarfers. So that's Palkia Origin, or Booster Energy Roaring Moon. I can outspeed those people. In this league, we're allowed to have 2 Terra Captains, with most Ubers unable to Terra, and they're going to be locked to one type. So I chose Basculegion as my Terra Captain, since it is obviously a great wall breaker. I was deciding between Fighting or Fairy. Fighting has the near perfect neutral coverage with Ghost, while Fairy has the better defensive synergy. And that's why I went for Fairy type, because Fairy Ghost coverage is still almost unwallable. So just having a better defensive typing outweighs the pros of going Fighting. And another thing that Basculegion has over Houndstone is adaptability. This makes Terra Blast even stronger when I Terra up, and it even powers up Last Respects, which is something that Houndstone can't do. Oh yeah, I should probably clarify what Last Respects does. So it starts off as 50 base power, but every time a teammate dies, it goes up by 50 more. So if Basculegion is the last one standing, it's gonna reach 300 base power. Now Basculegion also has a female form that trades some attack for special attack, but since Last Respects is physical, I don't think I'll be using the female form that much. Now for even more support, I went for Ferrothorn. Gives me Stealth Rock and Spikes, keeps it healthy with Leech Seed, and it switches into Dragon and Fairy moves better than Dialga. So this is my true Steel type. And Ferrothorn is not passive at all. It has many ways to chip down the opponent. There's the Hazards, there's the Leech Seed, there's Iron Barbs in combination with Rocky Helmet. And then it just has good attacks in general, with stuff like Body Press, Power Whip, Gyro Ball, and Knockoff. It is very easy for Ferrothorn to put stuff in range of Giratina, Shadow Sneak, or Basculegion Swift Swim Sweeping. So now I'm gonna cement my win condition in this next pick. I didn't want to pick it in round 4 because I needed really good mons first before I decide to dedicate to the full rain team. And now that I got Ferrothorn, it is time. So there's Pelipper. I only got it for the rain. Yes, defensive typing is really good. Works well with Dialga. As a special attacking water type, that's pretty nice. Hurricanes are pretty strong, and Defog and Scald are good support options. But mostly Pelipper will just be setting up rain and you turning away. And now we have my Mega. Now, most of the time I draft a water starter. I think in 90% of my drafts, there is always a water type starter. And I always try to make it something that I never drafted before. So if it's a rain team, it's obvious that my water starter is going to be Mega Swampert. Now, besides the obvious very powerful under rain as a sweeper, it is great as being my electric immunity, having well-rounded bulk, has Stealth Rock to alleviate the pressure for Ferrothorn or Dialga, and it even has Flip Turn for more pivoting. So Swampert allows me to do a double Swift Swim core with Basculegion. Hopefully they can break down each other's checks. So yeah. Now, I still wanted to try more new Pokemon. There's only like 2 new Pokemon in here so far. And this was the first Legends Arceus Pokemon that caught my eye. And it's going to be Overquill. It gives me the 2 most important types for draft, in my opinion. Poison, because you need a grounded poison to absorb toxic spikes. And Dark, because you need a Ghost and Dark resist, as well as an immunity to Psychic to prevent mono stored power sets. Overquill with those 2 types combined is a really good defensive typing. And it has 3 pretty handy abilities. I'm mostly going to be using Intimidate though, because Overquill looks really good as a support mon, especially as it's my only T-Spiker. It can also Spike and Taunt and Destiny Bond, I believe. And in a pinch, I could run a Swift Swim set. Yeah, I don't know how that'll work though, since it's not a water type. It's gonna be kind of weak, especially in an Uber setting, but hey, it is my fastest Swift Swim user, so that could be worth something. It also has a signature move, Barb Barrage, which is really weak, but a 50% chance to poison, and once it does poison, it'll deal like dunk shot levels of damage, so it is a great move in the long run. Now, despite my 3 Swift Swimmers and my multiple ways of controlling speed through stuff like Trick Room, Thunder Wave, and Tailwind, I still need natural speed, just because you want to force stuff to run speed-raising natures. That is why we have Kilowattrel. This thing is basically Thundurus and Zapdos combined into one at a lower price, because it's weaker and much frailer. But it has the best of both worlds in terms of ability and move pool. Thunder, Hurricane, and Weather Ball, all great to spam in the rain. Volt Absorb gives me another electric immunity, and Competitive gives me a Defog Punisher for all of my hazard stacking. Base 125 speed ties with Marshadow. That's good. But yeah, it's just my cookie cutter mon. It also forces a Koraidon and Iron Bundle to not run Adamant or Modest, respectively. And now for my last pick. I can still have a Terra Captain, but my points are pretty low. And I noticed how weak I was to Freeze Dry, so Purim White could have a field day on me. This is why, with what little points I had left, I went for Mr. Mangalar with the Terra type of Steel. So both in and out of Terra, it greatly appreciates the rain because it removes its fire weakness. Its abilities help me counter snow offense. It actually takes advantage of the snow by getting a defense boost. And it has amazing utility with stuff like Rapid Spin, Encore, and Freeze Dry. It's also no slouch offensively either. The Rapid Spin can boost its speed, and Nasty Plot can bring it to acceptable levels. It's surprisingly really fast. Base 100 speed is faster than stuff like Purim White, Groudon, even Urshifu. So it could work as some sort of late game cleaner. And although Eviolite is a great item to use on it, most of the time I noticed in the low tiers that Mr. Mime is better with heavy-duty boots. As a spinner, at least. But yeah, that's my draft. This is the first time I ever drafted Rain. I didn't even expect to go down that path with my first two choices. I feel like the toughest matchup for Rain are both the dragons, grasses, and waters, so I tried to pick Mons to help counter these types so that Basculegion and Swampert can let loose. Other weather setters are also a challenge, most notably Sun, but I am able to check most of the Sun setters. Only like Koraidon is very scary, so I'll have to go all out if I ever run into one. Oh yeah, I should also mention that there were multiple drafting pools, and after the drafting phase was over, the players were scrambled up again to create the matchups. So this means that I might run into identical Pokemon. So let's just hope that I don't run into like 5 Koraidons. Of course I had outs to this bad matchup, such as Choppleberry on Dialga, Trick Room, or denying its Sun with Pelipper if I can dodge the Wild Charge. Intimidate with Overquill is another way to stop it, and Scarf Kilowattrel if they're a greedy and or an adamant or something. It's just yeah, Koraidon definitely looks like a really hard matchup for me. But I do have other modes of offense if I don't want to run pure rain. I can create a standard hyper offense with like a spike setting suicide lead. And then I have my spin blocker, my defog punisher, and the setup sweeper, which could be a Mr. Mime or Swampert or Ferrothorn. Or I can do a different mode of offense that I like to call Hex offense, where I just spam as many status problems on the enemy and then try to clean up with Giratina and Basculegion's Hex. So, yep, that's my draft. Next up will be our pools match. If this is gonna be a short draft, there's only 4 weeks before playoff, so there's only gonna be 4 matchups. You can already see one of my matchups below. That's a nice little sneak peek. I don't know if that's what we're gonna do next week, because there's no order. It's pools. We get to choose who to fight, when to fight. So, yep. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.